I'll be buried in my grave before I become a slave, yeah. That is what I heard them say way back in the day. I'll be buried in my grave before I become a slave, yeah, yeah. But it seems like since that day, yeah, we have sorely changed. I'll be buried in my grave before I become a slave, yeah, yeah. That is what I heard them say, yeah. Way back in the day. I'll be buried in my grave, yeah, before I become a slave, yeah, yeah. But it seems like since that day, yeah, we have sorely changed. Whoa. Hey, hey. Whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, 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 oh.
And now, live from beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, you're watching My Fellow Americans with your host, Spike Cohen.
Yes! Oh, thank you. Oh, please, thank you. Yes, it's me. Thank you so much. Keep clapping. Clap for the miracle. Clap for that miracle. How would we know that you wanted the miracle if you didn't keep clapping? Welcome to My Fellow Americans. I am literally Spike Cohen. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday, the first day of September. This year is almost 3/4 of the way done. And if that doesn't horrify you, then I don't know what to tell you. But we are here, and this is going to be a fantastic episode. Why? Because you're here. But also because we have a very, very special guest, and I can't wait to introduce him. But first, I need to pay some condolences to a very good friend of mine, a man by the name of Chris Davis. Many of you who know him from the Liberty Movement and the Libertarian Party know him very well. He fought very, very bravely against cancer for quite some time, and he is now in a better place. But he leaves behind his wife, Erin, and his children, and I know that they miss him more than words can ever say. And anyone who knows him from the Libertarian Party of Virginia, or really just the Liberty Movement in general, you know how big of a loss this was. So, Chris, we miss you. Erin, we love you. We are here. We support you. And to the whole family, our deepest condolences. So with that said, we are going to have a very good episode. It is exactly what Chris would have wanted. Chris was a fan of the show and of what we're doing. This is a Muddy Waters Media production. Check us out everywhere, on all social media platforms, on all podcasting platforms, everything, everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Anchor, Twitter, Periscope, iTunes, Amazon Podcast, Google Play, Float, Twitch, everything. The Apple Podcasts, everything. We're all over the internet. Anywhere that you can find us, be sure to like us, follow us, 5-star us, subscribe to us, comment, do all the algorithm stuff that makes big tech show you that how much you love us. And be sure, if you're on YouTube, don't just hit subscribe, hit the bell too, because I want your phone to explode with notifications every time we go live. And of course, share this right now. The last thing I want is for you and your closest loved ones to miss out on a hour-long libertarian podcast on a Wednesday evening. Give the gift of Spike Cohen today. Kids love it. This episode, of course, is brought to you by the Libertarian Party Waffle House Caucus, the second largest caucus in the Libertarian Party. That is not a joke. This is literally the second largest caucus in the party. And if you'd like to join the fastest growing, it is literally the fastest growing caucus in the party. If you'd like to join the fastest movement in the Libertarian Party, go to the Facebook group Libertarian Party Waffle House Caucus. Or if you want to buy some sweet ass merch and become an official voting member of the caucus, which means nothing. We don't vote on anything. Then go to muddywatersmedia.com/store. Get yourself a Waffle House Caucus button or a Waffle House Caucus shirt or some other something with this nonsense on it. And no, we haven't gotten permission from the party or Waffle House to make this logo, so be ungovernable. The Gravy King, Cumberland Cannabis Co. If you would like to buy ethical, viable, and effective CBD and Delta-8 products, otherwise known as weed, from Cumberland County, Tennessee, then go to cumberlandcannabisco.com and tell them Spike sent you, because then they'll keep giving us money. Joe Solosky is running for governor of Pennsylvania. Joe is the key to Pennsylvania's success, and if you'd like to help him become the first libertarian governor ever, then go to joesolosky.com. That's JoeSoloski.com. Mudwater, the most appropriately named sponsor for Muddy Waters Media ever, because it's called Mudwater. If you woke up today and said, my God, if I ever have another cup of coffee again in my life, it'll be a day too soon, then I have some great news for you. We have this instead. It's made out of masala chai, whatever that is, cacao, mushrooms, not those kind, turmeric, sea salt, cinnamon, and literally nothing else. And if you're thinking, wow, those ingredients taste, I can picture what that tastes like, you're correct. That's what that tastes like. A little bit of honey makes anything taste good. It has 1/7 of the 1/7 of the caffeine of coffee, just enough to get you all pepped up like I am right now because I take mud water, but not so hyped up on caffeine that you end up crashing and having heart problems. So muddywatersmedia.com/mud if you want to buy some today. And also, speaking of possibly having heart problems, Jack Casey has 2 books that have come out, The Royal Green and In Silver Throned. And he is supposed to get us a graphic because now his 3rd book finally has come out. I guess it is technically summer, Crowned by Gold. But he hasn't gotten that to us. So you're going to just keep looking at this graphic until he gets us the graphic we need. So he's been so busy writing the book, he didn't make the graphic for it. But as I've told you many times, I will never read these books. If they're good, then I will feel bad for roasting them for the past several months. And if they're bad, I'll feel bad for trying to get you to buy them. So either way, you have to buy these and let me know if they're good. I will take it with a grain of salt because everyone's opinion is just that. But go to theroyalgreen.com and you can get this book today. I'll tell you something else that might horrify you. Adderpan, the most horrifying thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. Available on Steam. I haven't even played this game. I literally just did a video walkthrough, and that was enough for me not to be able to sleep that night. Adderpan is one of those games that I don't get why people play games like this. But if you're into being horrified for the rest of your life, go to Steam and you can buy this for the low, low price of $5 plus the cost of therapy and medication and mental health services for the rest of your life and that of your children. Now here's something that won't give you a panic attack, hopefully. Fierce Luxury by Ashley. High-end bags and accessories featuring brands such as Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, and Hermes. They are a high-end bag and accessory online consignment store. And if you want to consign your Hermes with them, you can do so for a 30% fee, which is 20% less than most consignment stores offer. That's what she told me that. I can't tell you. I mean, she wouldn't have lied. But you can find them online by going to fierceluxurybyashley.com or the Facebook group Fierce Luxury by Ashley. Now I'll tell you something else that's fierce and exclusive. Thomas Queter. He's running for state senate in New York in the 52nd District of New York. Thomas Queter says, I run better than Albany, which is funny because he is a cripple. He finds that funny, and he literally told me to say that. I feel uncomfortable every time I say it, but here we are. Thomas Queter is actually one of the best people I know. Incredibly dedicated, incredibly principled, a man of just impeccable character, honest, trustworthy, hardworking, just a ball of energy, and no one could serve the city of the state of New York or the 52nd district better than Tom could. If you want to help Tom become the first libertarian in the state senate in New York, go to tomfor52.com, TOMFOR52.com/FTG. I'd also like to remind you, this isn't a sponsor, but it's a thing I'm doing. All this weekend, I'm going to be in Florida for the Spike Cohen Florida Tour, September 3rd through 5th. If you go to spikecohen.com, you can find out about all the events I'm doing. I am going to be everywhere in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and the surrounding areas. I'd love to get to see you if you live in South Florida, or if you just want to go to South Florida this weekend for Labor Day weekend. That shouldn't be crazy there, huh? Traffic should be just fine. So come and hang out with me this Friday through Sunday in Florida, beautiful Miami, and Fort Lauderdale, spikecohen.com. Now, if after watching all of this, you feel the need to sue me, well, I have some bad news for you. Because I'm going to use personal injury attorney Chris Reynolds, attorney at law, and I'm going to sue you back, and I'm going to win because he's the best attorney in Florida. He's the only one that's paying us. So chrisreynoldslaw.com. If you want to sue someone else over something else that has nothing to do with me, then you can do that. But he will get you as much money as he possibly can, legally, obviously. And he will just giant bags of money this man can get you if you've been personally injured. chrisreynoldslaw.com. The intro and outro music to this and every single episode of My Fellow Americans comes from the amazing and talented Mr. Joe Davi. That's Jodavi. Check him out on Facebook, on SoundCloud. Go to his Bandcamp, jodavimusic.bandcamp.com. Buy his entire discography. His new album just dropped. It's like $25 for everything he's ever done. Go there, buy everything. You're going to love it. Thank you so much to Mr. Joe Davi. I'd like to thank Le Bleu for this delicious drinking water that I'm drinking on this episode. Bulavanaka. Shout out to Tara and Turkis' mom and him as always. Folks, my guest tonight is objectively one of the best rappers alive in the game. Originally from Long Island, he's been rapping since 1992, and during that time, he has worked with absolute heavyweights like Wu-Tang Clan, Mobb Deep, Kool G Rap, Notorious B.I.G, Tech Nine, Talib Kweli, Eric Sermon, Trackmasters, DJ Quick, The Alchemist. I could have made 2 paragraphs of all the people he's worked. I had to stop somewhere. He has also written for Vibe, King, Complex, Rides, XXL, The Source, and The Ring. His new album, which is right, where is it? Here, All My Heroes, is available. It is, again, objectively an absolute banger, and it features artists such as Ghostface Killah, Eamon, Atmosphere, Ice-T, Vinny Paz, Brand Nubian, Chino XL, MOP, Onyx. Jesus. It's available on all major streaming sites, and you can also get physical copies, including CDs and vinyl, on his website, ratheruggedman.net. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Americans, please welcome to the show, Mr. R.A. the Rugged Man. R.A., thank you so much for being on, man.
Hey, how you doing? That was a good introduction. There you go. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Listen, I appreciate you being on. And folks, be sure to, we are live, so be sure to ask us your thoughts and questions in the comments, and RA will tell you if you are right or wrong. RA, just before we get started on that,
real quick, let me correct you one thing, though.
Sorry.
The internet said I'm rapping since 92 because, that's when the first vinyls came out or whatever, but I started rapping at 11 years old. I was a little kid in the 80s. I was a little fat kid in the 80s, better than everybody on the block. I was rapping in the 80s, man. But, internet don't let you know that.
Okay, all right. No, I want to correct that. So this man is an old school rapper. He's been rapping since the 80s. So they've been rapping for... Yeah, literally since I was like 11 years old. I've been rapping forever. I was, the best fat kid on the block, just obliterating people with a little high-pitched girly voice because I didn't hit puberty yet. Yo, who won a battle? I love it. I love it. He's been battle rapping since most of us weren't even born yet or were children. So I have to hear the genesis story here. What got you into hip hop? Like, okay, 11 years old, you've decided to battle rap people. Where did that come from?
Well, it was funny. I was a little kid riding my bicycle, and there was this crazy older kid. And he had, remember M80s? You could blow up like a quarter stick of dynamite. And he literally blew up a shopping center window, and yo, kid, look at this. And I was like, yo, you're crazy. And we drove away on our bicycles. And he was a beatboxer, human beatbox Bob. And then he took me around the kids in the neighborhood. Stimulation and Proficient was a little rap crew. And I don't know, I just had a gift, and I started getting better than so many people. So they started taking me around all over, the the boroughs in New York City and all over the house parties, and they were like, yo, check out our boy, our little, So yeah, that's how it started. It was something I was naturally good at, and it, it was the only thing I was ever really good at in life. So, so, yeah.
That's awesome. So okay, so you're 11. You're battle rapping. You now by the time by
battle
92
rapping,
comes.
they took me around. I started rapping 11, but battle rapping around 13 years old, closer, where like, well, confidently, where they would take me around and like showcase me, around 13.
Right. And so your first album drops, your first vinyl drops in 92. You have rapped with like 4 generations. You're basically one of these timeless rappers that has been rapping with multiple generations. I just think it's incredible. First of all, so I guess my first question is, at this moment, you're a legend in your own right. You're putting out legendary albums left and right, and now here you are talking to a Jew in his basement. Do you feel like you've peaked in this very moment?
Well, no, let me tell you something. I supported you and Joe Jurgensen in the election. I posted, hey, vote Joe Jurgensen. I was rocking with you guys in the election. You're gonna be like, yo, you're an idiot, but I'm in Berlin, raising my kids in Berlin, and I went and sent away for my overseas ballots on time and everything. And they didn't get him to me till like and I called, hey, where's my ballots? Where's my ballot? We sent the ballot, and they didn't come till like a week after the election was too late or whatever. So I tried to vote for you.
You tried to vote. We could have won if your thing had come in. That could have been. That could have been. I want to recount now.
But I did. Whatever. How many fans I got online between Twitter and Facebook and all of that. I put the vote Joe Jurgensen's out there quite a few times, and had the people be like, "Oh, you're trying to ruin the election," because they always, you vote third party, you're the Susan Sarandon devil from hell, how they villainize anyone that doesn't vote for their party, it's like they don't understand that if you vote third party, whether the third party wins or not, you're empowering the party, you're giving it strength, so more finances could come in for future elections, and people have to take steps to get out of the 2-party voting system in America, because it's never going to work. Two sides of devils. Oh, we're voting for the lesser of the two evil. No, you're not. They're both evil. Biden is a monster from hell, and we already knew it. In 50 years of racism, we know all about Biden's history, and then we know who Trump is. We're evil, racist, scumbag. So we got to vote for the less of the worst, evil, decrepit, dead, 78-year-old racist guy. No, you don't. You don't have to vote for that. And if all the people that didn't vote in America came together and voted for somebody that would, benefit, the country better, we could have a third party and a fourth party and other options. But that's not people are brainwashed to think you must vote for this. This is the only option, is the bad guy or the bad guy, So.
Well, and that's the crazy thing is, and I say this a lot, 330 million people in the U.S., not to mention people like you that are in other countries that are American citizens. So well over, like close to 350 million people. We have 2 choices to pick from, and they're both evil? Like, why?
And they're not even just evil. They're terrible, and they're ignorant, and they can't even make sentences. Like, you can't have a guy that could just at least finish a sentence, or like sentence, Trump couldn't finish a sentence without, talking about himself and getting this like really egotistical, insecure rant. Like neither of them, the one guy can't finish a sentence and the other guy can't finish a sentence that has anything to do with anything except himself. It's crazy, man. It's like, it's so crazy. Like supposedly America, where these, we have the great minds and people keep, these are the best we have to offer. We all know it's not. So why do we keep, and then they defend it, and then they defend Biden, and they defend Trump, and they defend all these awful options. Like, shouldn't we be smart enough to go like, no, both of these guys are terrible.
Right.
But they're not smart. They're not, no. Oh, I hate the other guy so much. Oh, I hate this guy so much. Oh, they're all going to ruin the country. Nah, man, you guys are brainwashed, man. Just if everybody just stopped with the programming and moved forward and supported people who supported us, you know. So yeah, but that's not gonna happen.
When did you first start thinking this way? Is this something you've always been, or was there like an aha moment a few years ago? Like what first made you realize this was all a scam?
Well, the music industry, I was a kid, and I knew that was a scam, and I saw the way they could program the public to buy into like really mediocre material, you know, and they could really sell an artist like this is something special, you know, like, oh, this is this. So I saw that, so and I saw the public eat it up. I'm like, wow, that's, and I was still young, so I didn't know. Oh, that's the same exact game as you know, politics, you know, and politicians. It's the same exact game. You sell them the lies, you know, have somebody write a good speech, put some decent lighting on, put some music behind it, sell some ads. Except it's a lot crazier because there's the fear mongering aspect. In the music entertainment, they're not like fear mongering you not to buy the album, someone else's album. They'll just like, we're going to make my guy more sellable. But this is now like literal like fear mongering. Like if you don't vote for our great guy that's great and perfect, you know, you're all going to die. You're all going to die. And this is the most important election of all time. It's the most important ever. If you don't vote this year, we're all doomsday. You know, it's like crazy. You know.
So that's similar. So yeah, no, they don't say if you don't buy, and I don't want to trash talk any person, but like if you don't buy this pop star's album, you're a murderer. But it's a similar thing where it's like, it's a similar thing where it's like, well, this person's great, and you know, like you said, the lighting and they literally have people writing their songs and their music and their beats and choreography, and they literally just
and they
show
have
up
the magazines
and
and press in their pockets,
right?
You know, just like politicians.
It's just like politicians. You know? Wow.
Yep. It's the same exact game, except instead of you being, you know, that person's a killer. If you don't like them, then you're a hater, you know? So you're a hater. You're a hater. And how dare you not say, you know, so, and they find ways to like, oh, if you don't like something, then they'll go with ageism or something. Oh, it's just a different decade. No, it's not that either, you know? It's like, you know, so, but they'll find ways to like why your opinion doesn't count, you know, to have a music opinion if it's not the same as what the world is, you know, being fed, you know, but it's just not like as disgusting as politics where like, you know, Assange is a rapist, this guy's, you know, anybody, you know, it's like,
Yep.
And then, you know, me too, you know, get rid of all the predators unless it's the one in my party, you know. It's like, you know, that whole thing, like the whole Me Too, Alyssa Milano and all of them. Oh, Me Too, and get Brett Kavanaugh, the Republican, out of here, and then Joe Biden. I like Joe Biden. He's that woman that said he, you know, threw her against the wall and molested her and inserted his fingers in her. She's a lying bitch because Joe's the man. You know, it's like it's all, you know. It's like, so none of it's real. None of it's real. You know?
You're right. It is a very similar parallel there between like these like kind of, I guess, pop stars and politicians. They're using a lot of them use the same PR teams too. It's funny. So you've made, I mean, your artistry. There we are. Your artistry, you have made a lot of songs about distrusting government and the police and authority, and I mean, you've literally, I can count on one hand the number of rappers that have referenced things like COINTELPRO and, you know, like counterintelligence with intelligence agencies and things like that, and like you've done songs like Who Do We Trust, Tom Thumb, Media Midgets. I'm sure a bunch more I'm not even remembering right now. One that really sticks out, and if I'm in fact, a few people have actually asked this in the comments. I believe this is actually a personal story. You did a song with, it's called Uncommon Valor, and you did it on the album of
Jedi Mind Tricks. Yeah,
Jedi Mind Tricks. You did on Jedi Mind Tricks, and it's called Uncommon Valor, a Vietnam story or something like that. Is that true that that's actually a story related to your family?
Well, I'm rapping in the true story perspective of my father, Staff Sergeant John A. Thorburn. And yes, he was a highly decorated soldier. He was a Green Beret, and then he went from Green Beret to Screaming Eagles. 17 years old. He was getting in trouble in the streets. They said, hey, go to jail or go in the military. Let's do this, kid. So he wanted to get out the streets, and they trained him to be a killer, and they had him doing secret missions, and his gun was shooting 4,000 bullets a minute, and he was taking men in this war that we shouldn't have been in the first place. They were taking the American soldiers out of enemy territory, and his helicopter got shot down, and he was in a 10-month body cast and came home after countless medals and all of this stuff. But what had happened was they flew him into a whole bunch of areas with Agent Orange, and Agent Orange ended up making my little sister, she couldn't walk or talk. My little brother, he couldn't walk or talk, and he was blind. My sister died. My brother died. And then my dad's grandson, my nephew, Vincent, he was born, and he died at 6 months old. His body just got weaker and weaker till he died. So, half the kids in my family are dead because of the American government poisoning its own people, which we all know, oh, Assad, he poisons his own people. We don't do that. We're the good guys. But no. We poison our own fucking people. We're still doing it today. That's what we do, man. We're disgusting, I don't know, man. And that's why, I don't mean to go back to you guys, but when Joe Jurgensen, the only one with an anti-war message, and of course they're going to come and try to destroy her. And it was the same thing with Jill Stein, anti-war, destroy her. Yep. Ron Paul, anti-war, destroy them. That's they don't want anybody with an anti-war narrative. They want warlords. They want demons and warmongers. So.
No, it's true. I mean, one of the few things that Joe Biden's done that I actually agree with is he seems determined to get out of Afghanistan, and they're doing it. They're pulling out every stop to say how terrible that is, and it's like, no, this is the one. Yeah. He did it poorly. Should have been fast tracking getting people out of there sooner. All that. I'm not saying he's doing it the best way, but the one good thing he's done has been no, we're leaving Afghanistan, and that's it, and we're done.
Here's the thing, the media. Everything Trump did was wrong to the media, right? Right. The one thing that they celebrated him on when he was dropping those fucking bombs, the first time he's looking presidential, as soon as he's killing people and blowing shit up and letting off them bombs, all of a sudden we're going to compliment Trump. Now, Biden, they complimented everything he did. Biden can't do no wrong. The one wrong he does is get the fuck out of Afghanistan. But that's the right thing. He got out of Afghanistan. We shouldn't have been there. We've been there for 20 years. And people go, well, he got out of there wrong. Okay. So if we stayed there for another 5 years and dropped more bombs and murdered more, well, you saw what they did this week. They killed 6 fucking children this week.
Yep.
You saw it.
Yep.
They bombed. And they said, we were trying. A guy was going to bomb the airport. Get the fuck out of here. And people celebrated it like, America did such a good job. They killed literally 4 children, 2 high school people, and I think one soldier and 2 innocent civilians. So he got out. But we're still motherfucking baby killers. We're still murdering babies. And why isn't anybody outraged by that? We get outraged. Everybody's outraged by everything. But when we literally kill children, the outrage is so fucking minimum. Like no outrage. Yeah. Like we killed children. And I said it the other day. Like imagine if a drone landed in your neighborhood and killed your neighbor's son and your daughter and the kid next door and 2 women hit. Well, how come it doesn't matter over there? How come nobody cares that they're blowing up people in other countries? They're literally murdering babies. They did it. What was it? 3, 4, 5 days ago? Sickening, man.
Yeah. It was like 3 or 4 days ago. And even if you don't care about the lives of those people, you have to recognize that anyone in that neighborhood that's watching is like, whoever did this, I want to kill them. Who do I get to join to do that? You have to join the Taliban, or you have to join ISK or Al Qaeda. Okay, great. I'll join them. Which one's easier to join?
Exactly. Because here's the thing: if somebody drone strikes my son and my daughter and my sister, I want revenge, right?
Yep.
So if you're out there murdering their families, America, if you're out there murdering all these people's families and innocent civilians and blowing up weddings, what do you think you're producing? You're producing bloodthirsty people who want revenge. So who the hell did that? Stop killing people all over the planet. And here's the other thing I say. How many wars are we in right now? Nobody even knows. Aren't you supposed to know how many wars or conflicts your country's in? We don't know.
Yep. Yep.
We could try to name them, but literally go on Twitter, say, hey, how many wars is America in right now? And nobody has an answer. That's how fucking much of a mess. And that's how little anybody questions anything. Like, why isn't that in a debate? Like, how many wars are we in this year? Nobody answers that question. You know, how many conflicts are we in right now, USA? How much our tax-paying dollars? How many people are we murdering right now with our tax dollars? How many?
Yep. Yep.
You know, you can't. Yeah.
And after people join those terror groups, then the CIA arms them for some reason. Like this is, yeah. This is the
well,
system.
Abolish the CIA, abolish all of them, NSA, abolish all of them. And I'm heavy with that. Abolish to take away the right for the U.S. to murder people. Period. Abolish the death penalty. Abolish all of it. Get rid of all of it. You know, and the CIA. Is there a good thing that they've ever done ever in history? Look at their history. They've done far more horrible, terrible, illegal acts on American citizens and worldwide than anything. So why do we have them? Why do we agree to have them? Why do we automatically take it for granted that the CIA is good and we need them? Why? What has the CIA ever done that was good? Tell me.
You're asking the wrong person. I want to get rid of all of them too. So I literally campaigned all last year to get rid of them. So we'll have to, we'll ask people in the comments. Let's go through the comments and see if anyone has any questions. And in the meantime, if anyone wants
can't see the comments, so you
that's fine. Yeah, I'm going to go through. I have a thing where I can see all the Facebook and YouTube and everything all together. I'm going to look and see if anyone wants to comment what the CIA has done right. Then we can answer that. So let's see if we got any questions here. A lot of people asking, people telling me Jedi mind tricks. People asking why my wife isn't on that. Listen, if you want my wife to have a show, everyone likes my wife better than me. People are asking. They're
like, get this ugly ass RA guy out and put your beautiful wife on.
No, it's not you. It's not you they want to get rid of. It's me. They're like, no, I don't want to get rid of this middle-aged Jew and put his wife in. So a bunch of people asking if you're gonna tour in their various cities. So you have a lot of people that want you to come tour there.
Yeah, well, we have a big tour in December. My guy is booking. I think there's 18 dates so far, so I'm figuring out what they all are. He didn't tell me. I got this guy Bobby from Leo Presents, and he's been doing good for me because the touring was crazy in 2020, obviously with COVID and everything, and the majority of my shows got canceled. I think I did 4 shows that year. And 2021, this guy Bobby booked me roughly around 43 shows, and he's booking me another 18. And I did a couple others. I did some festivals, but he booked the majority of my shows. So let's see what he comes up with for December and where he sends me next. My shows I had shows in, where was it? Some of my shows in Europe got canceled for this month. 2 of them remain. 2 of them are canceled. And then my shows for October were canceled. I think 2 of them remain. But so, it's ups and downs with this, with the different restrictions, So.
Yeah, I can't. This is actually one of the things I wanted to talk about is what it must be like right now as an entertainer. But I do have someone. They've asked. You just did a song with Afro, which first of all, whenever you do the songs where you rap really really fast, I try to move my mouth at the same speed, not even talk, just move. And I'm like, how is this man doing this? But someone asked if Afro is on the same wave as you with this distrust of government and all that. Do you know if Afro is on the same tip?
Well, Afro, I don't want to be a bad influence on him, but he is a little even more than me on, where I got a big, that's a little conspiratorial, son. So he's kind of, when you first realize the dishonesty and you get all the distrust sometimes you do go extreme with it, and you
Right.
start believing way more than you should. That you believe all kind of crazy stuff. So I think he's a little bit in the conspiratorial realm where like he'll learn to decipher both of them a little better. Where that's bullshit too. That's bullshit too. And this might be true. So.
Here's the thing, man. In the last 2 years, it just feels like every conspiracy theory is just like a prologue for what's about to happen. Like it's like, man, everything. It's like, and I'm not a conspiracy guy, but like they'll say something, I'm like, no, and then like 6 months later, it's like confirmed in a CDC study, and I'm like, so now when someone says something, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sit on this for a year. And then we'll circle back to it and see if this. So it's hard, man. It's hard to tell.
They ban people for all the stuff that the CDC and all these people admit now. Like they ban people from Facebook, YouTube channels, all this stuff, because they were putting information up that was true that supposedly wasn't true at the time, or you wasn't allowed to have that opinion. Now it's true. So, and of course they won't bring them people back afterwards. Just come back, get them out of here.
I know a page that was permabanned from Facebook because they said that this was like back in February or March. They said, these vaccines are going to have booster shots, and they got knocked down for false news, and they got IP banned, so like they can't even log on to Facebook. There's now going to be booster shots. We're getting at least a third and fourth shot now.
You can't tell the truth anymore. You can't. Like right now, you got to watch what you say because they're going to cut it down. But you're trying to, you know what, man, my livelihood is being able to interact with fans. It's how I book the shows. That's how they know the new material is out. But it's at some point you just talk. I've destroyed my career so many times in life, before the internet. I've always had a big mouth, and I talk. So if they take me down again, cyberly or whatever the word is I'm trying to say, so be it,
So these are the two things, the biggest, and you can tell me if there's a bigger one, but what seem to be the two biggest challenges, the first one we can start with is these lockdowns, these vaccine passports, these travel bans and all this stuff. Just you touched on it a little bit, but talk about like, okay, you're an entertainer, like you said, your main source of both income and inspiration and camaraderie and everything else is going out there and playing to crowds and meeting with your fans and signing autographs and selling albums and all this stuff, and that's becoming increasingly difficult and sometimes impossible. Just talk about what that's like, just even in the last year and a half, what that's been like.
Well, my album dropped literally when the month, like lockdowns was starting like a week before my album dropped, or 2 weeks. It was April 2020. I don't remember when lockdown started. Do you remember when it started? Maybe. So it was like roughly around that time.
In this country, it was like early mid-March that they started. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So my album was scheduled to drop. We had picked the date 3 months ahead of time, and we were advertising it, and everyone was like, well, you should reschedule the date because, COVID's happening and this is happening. You got to reschedule. And I'm like, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? What do I reschedule?
Right.
Like reschedule for 5 more months, 3 months. Like, let's put the music out. And it actually worked. It worked in the favor because people were stuck, locked in their house. And it was 20 songs and brand new material. And it really... It ended up going number one in a lot of different countries on iTunes, and it went really high. It was 22 with no money behind it. It's just me and Devin and Matt, it went number 22 best-selling album in the country on Billboard charts. With no promo. It's me on Facebook putting, and Twitter, and we outsold every big album. The ones that were beating us were like Taylor Swift and, stuff like that. But literally no promotion except us and word of mouth. So we did great with it. And then it went number 3 on the charts in England, like number 3 out of all music. It was number 3 on the R&B charts. Number 9 on the Canadian, charts. It was like really, and it wasn't like hip hop or iTunes. It was like on the regular charts. So so for just making some good music and pressing, hey, send on my little Twitter or Facebook or IG. We did pretty damn good with it, you know. So, but the problem is my career. I do hundreds of shows a year every year. I've been doing it for 2 decades. My main bread and butter is nonstop shows. So when I drop an album, when your album is doing great, that's when you get the most money per show, when you got a brand new album out. So, we're going to tour the new album and get all these great deals. And, you know, I couldn't tour for a year and a half after it came out. So the fees weren't as good as they could have been if we toured it a year and a half. But I'm not crying. I got to spend some time with my kids. More time than I would have. I would have been touring nonstop. But on the flip side of that is I would have been able to, you know, have some good money, you know, saved up for them for when I'm gone, you know. I lost that, but, you know, so.
Well, it's not, I have a feeling this isn't going to be your last album either. I think you strike me as like a KRS-One or like just one of the, or like any of like the most of the Wu-Tang artists who just like they're just constantly putting out fire every couple of years, every few years, and it's like not going to end anytime. Like and again, this is just me as I'm a very amateur hip hop head. You're like this sort of like a timeless rapper. It's not like you're a rapper of the 90s or the 2000s or the 2010s, whereas there are rappers out there that like they had their moment in like, you know, from 95 to 98 and that was their period and that's it. I don't think this is going to be the last from you, but it's, you know, it's incredible. So you did the like, I guess, social media equivalent of selling your mixtape out of your trunk basically and ended up number 22.
Yeah, well, you know, we did YouTube promos, we did high quality videos. I've been working my name for decades, and plus, you know, I've been doing shows all over the world for decades. Of course. So it's not as easy as just pressing the button like I made it sound. It's a lot of footwork, but you know, that footwork led to me being able to press the button and they get the music, you know. But yeah, Chuck D once said, I think he called me Benny King or Chuck Berry or one of them guys that was rocking heavy till his 80s or something. He's like, yo, RA's, you know, gonna be like the Chuck Berry or Benny King. I don't. I sound like an idiot now, but he's like, you know, he's gonna be rocking mid 80s, just being one of the greatest. You know, like he really. I can see it. And Chuck D's my idol. From Public Enemy. So when you said that, I was like, that sounded like what Chuck was saying, you know. So, yeah.
No, I can see it. I can see you like 20 years from now, your 30-second albums coming out. Like I can totally see that. So another aspect of what's becoming, it seems like incredibly difficult for entertainers, especially rappers. So like anyone who has listened to your songs, you say some wild shit. Like you, there's nothing you don't say. And that's used to be how rap was kind of across the board. They said whatever they wanted, even sometimes often really, really, really offensive stuff. And it seems like there's this growing, you know, we call it cancel culture, and it's said so often that it's almost overused at this point. But it's like we finally got over the era from the 70s and 80s where politicians were trying to cancel music. You know, you had Tipper Gore trying to, you know, ban certain types of music, and you had politicians that pushed the parental advisory and you know, have to be 18 plus to buy these. We finally got over that hump. But now it seems like there's this new puritanism.
It always existed in history where there's moralists. There's these moralists that believe they know what's best for society, and they are the ones who are morally superior to the others, and they get to decide what you should and should not listen to, and what's damaging to the society, and like. So many of the arguments that I hear today from these cancel people is the same fucking arguments you'd hear in like 1908 and 1912 in the beginning of cinema. Like, oh, it's harming the children. Oh, it's women, you know, hurting women. It's hurt this, that. It's like the same things. It's like, stop, guys. Like Cardi B's not hurting your kids. And the thing is, it's always been there, though. The 1930s, they came in, the Hays Code. I was just tweeting about this today because somebody was arguing. Say, oh, you can't say this, and if you do this, and then the Catholic Church come in, and the Legion of Decency, because those are the decent people that could tell Americans and not even the world what they can and cannot see. And then if you go, then the 50s was, you saw what that was. But then the 60s, it started becoming more free love and do whatever the fuck you want. And women could be whores and guys could be whores. And let's all fuck and it's freedom. And the late 60s, and in the 70s, disco and parties. But then nudie cuties were coming out in the 60s and they fought, Russ Meyer and all these people. These films must be condemned. And then it just kept slapping them in the face. And then the porn era came. And then all the evangelists, or how you say the word, these preachers and
moral majority people,
they all came in. Oh, just to let your fans know, I was up at 6:30 in the morning with my children, and right now it's 3 in the morning here, so I'm going on close to 20 something hours because I stayed up to do this interview with Spike. But then so if the words are all retarded in my brains, excuse me, we can't say that either, right? But
you can say that. So, you can say whatever you want on the show.
No, but
you can say whatever you want.
What I'm saying is, and then the porn industry happened, and blossomed and blew up and made movie stars and a whole new industry. And you had the people coming trying to close down theaters in certain neighborhoods and this and that. And they lose every time. So now that and then the 80s was like a whole fight. The 70s and 80s was a fight against the Legion of Decency and the Catholic Church and you telling us what we can and can't say. And women could be free. They could show their tits. They could fuck who they want. That was all what the 70s and 80s was. And now they're regressing back to where it's like, oh, don't say that, don't say this, don't say that. No, we fought for freedom to say and do, and that was what was liberal. To be able to say, eat, cunt, fuck, shit, whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
Now it's like, oh, he said a bad word. He made a sex joke in 1983, and no shit, he made a sex joke in 1983. It was 1983, So I'm not gonna stop. That's the era I came up on, is fighting those people who wanted to, hold back speech. So I'm gonna go out of my way to say something and not care what anybody thinks about it. It's what I want to say. And if you want to shut me down or cancel me or destroy me, then do it. I don't care. It's like, that's not what art is. And I bring it up all the time. Like even in Michelangelo days, they was ripping carving the penises off the statues, and it's like it's existed from the beginning. They all think they're morally superior to you, me. They think that they're morally superior to the public because they know what the public can and can't see. And it's the same thing with internet censorship right now. Same thing going on. It's like, we have to protect the public. We are morally superior, and we have to protect the public. But they know they're not even about that. They're just trying to, they don't care about the public. They care about controlling information on the internet, so.
Yeah. This is so, and probably I'm going to summarize about 15, 20 different people ask the same question, basically. So what do you do? It sounds like what you're saying is just ignore them and still say what you want to say and fight and push back, because eventually they're going to lose, right?
Yeah. But here's the thing. It all depends. Some people are smarter than me business-wise. I'm not a good businessman. So some people that are smarter business-wise, they know how to say what they're supposed to say for the money people and don't say what they're not supposed to say, or they'll lose the money. That's not me, though. I'm going to die as a person who said whatever the hell he wanted to, made what he wanted to. And if it makes me broke, it makes me broke. If it feeds my kids, it feeds my kids, whatever. But I'm not stopping what I do to make a business decision. I'm not. That's just not who I was. I could have done that. There were so many opportunities my whole career. I could have compromised, and I fought decade after decade to be able to have my freedom of musical choices, of my artistic choices. and I'm not gonna let no culture cancel take that away from me ever. I'm not, you know. And if they throw us all off the computer, I don't know. I guess we got to go old school and make pamphlets and be on the corner in the street. You know, I don't know. I don't know what we do next. You know,
I think honestly, I think the blockchain stuff that's coming out, it's going to be so impossible to centralize the internet, much less control it. I think we are seeing the final dying gasps of corporate control of the internet. I think we're about to go back to a more free era. I do. I think with blockchain and DeFi and all these all these decentralized types of systems that are being built, you know, it started with Bitcoin, but that's just the beginning. That's just the currency that's going to be used. Every single aspect of society is going to have a blockchain based service for it, and that's going to include social media, man. And eventually, it's going to reach a point. It's not going to be possible to even know who is doing what where, much less being able to try to really control it. I mean, maybe with entertainment, there's still some controls there, but nothing like we have right now, where you have literally like 5 or 6 corporations controlling the entire narrative. That's all going away very soon.
See, here's the thing. I'm very, very ignorant with technology. So the blockchain stuff, all that, I'm really, really clueless about it. But I read a lot of history, and I read a lot of history on censorship. And every time there's this control or stopping of information or art, it eventually slaps them in the face, and the art and the control loses and the art wins. Always, every single time. So if digitally, this new digital world is the blockchain is what's going to save it, that is what it is. But it never prevails. Them controlling the art never prevails, because eventually, whether it takes 20 years, 50 years, 1 year, 6 months, the art prevails. It always does, you know. You know, and then people look back at the people who tried to suppress humor and art as the idiots and the fools and the silly people and the primitive people. They all look primitive. Like all these people part of cancel culture today that are trying to suppress jokes and suppress humor and ban films from the past that might offend people. They're going to look like idiots, and they're going to look silly, and they're going to look primitive, and people are going to laugh at them and look at them like the idiots. Right now, they think they're the heroic ones, just like the Legion of Decency. Oh, we're saving people's souls, and we're keeping this art from them because they need us to put. It's the same thing. They're just gonna look like the fools. So you know, be on the right side of history if you want. Right now, you think you're the savior and you're the good guy saving the world from art, but you're not. You're the stupid Catholic guy from the 50s. And don't say that. Don't show your breasts. You know.
Jericho Banker says, never forget that the people that said that they're morally superior are the same people that covered up child molesters, and that's
it's the most obvious one, but it's the most obvious one, but so true. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that was it. That was literally it. That's the tweet. So the another thing, I wasn't gonna bring it up because it's kind of self-serving, but 3 people have now asked if you're going to sample my rants in one of your songs.
Oh, maybe I'll listen to some on YouTube. We'll see, and I'll have somebody scratch it. Yeah,
scratch it. That will be. I will know I have arrived when people have started like sampling my rants on YouTube and scratching it. So it's got a scratch to it. No, that I will know. That's when I know.
Forget that you ran for vice president. That was nothing. A scratch on RA record. No. There, you made it.
RA record. Sampled on an RA record. I can be like, okay, now I can die. I will have reached the pinnacle at that point. So someone asked, is the stuff that you've what was it that made you decide to raise family in Berlin? Is that related to the stuff we've been talking about, getting out of the U.S. or?
No, a lot of people think that because they say you know, because I moved out in 2016, so they was like, oh, you were too much of a snowflake for Trump, you had to leave. It's like no, the mother of my children, Rini, she's a school teacher. She was born and raised in Germany. Oh, okay. And I met her, and she came to New York, and we fell in love, and we had babies together. And her job, her life is in Berlin, and she went to. It's harder to become a school teacher in Germany than it is America. It's almost like you got to be like the same amount of schooling to be a doctor, like 8 years or something.
Oh wow!
So it's crazy. So she's a really good school teacher. She got a good job, and also on the flip side of that is, healthcare is free for my children. But on the flip side of that is the taxes are super high. So, you know, it's hypocritical, right? But I don't pay tax in Germany, so I'm an American citizen. So, but
Listen, yeah.
and college is free out there. And healthcare. I don't get free healthcare because I don't pay tax here. But
Right.
healthcare, if you're not insured, is affordable. It's not like America where, like, if something happens to you and you're not insured, it costs $1 million. Like,
Right,
you could actually,
right.
go to the doctor, see a doctor, and it's all affordable. So
Yeah. No, listen, people try to defend our healthcare system, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, our government spends more money per taxpayer or per patient on healthcare than almost any other country. The U.S. government actually spends more money per patient of taxpayer money on healthcare than they do in Germany, and then we pay 2 or 3 times that out of pocket in addition to that. Like, our system is an absolute mess. So the fact that healthcare was a big factor weighing in your decision to leave is not surprising, and you certainly don't have to defend that
wasn't
here.
No, that wasn't my decision. I was just saying, like, oh, what happened? That wasn't my decision. She's the mother of the kids, and this is where her life is, and she wanted to raise her kids in there, and I respected that. So to be near my kids, I have to live in, like, I have a spot. I bought them a beautiful home, and I have a spot, my own place near their kindergarten. So, and it's walking distance from the home I bought. So no, none of that was a deciding factor. I would have raised them in America, so they would have talked like American kids, even if. But because my daughter talks like German perfectly and speaks like an American kid. But my son, he talks a little Schwarzeneggerish. He's like, "Hey, daddy, like, come on, son." He's like, "Daddy, I play with nunchucks, daddy." I'm like, "Come on, John, we gotta get you back to America to talk a little bit more like us, not like daddy though. I don't want my kids to have a Long Island accent.
You don't want them to have the Long Island accent? I love the Long Island accent. I want my kid. I'm not even from there. I want my kids to have Long Island accents, and then everyone to be like, "Why do your kids sound like this? Why do they talk?"
Where were you born and raised?
So I was born in Baltimore, but I grew up in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And the reason I talk like this is because I'm Jewish, and all Jews talk like this. It doesn't matter where we are. We just all sound like this. It like literally doesn't matter where we're born. We all talk like this. So we got another question here. Where was it? Can you rap in German?
I've done some German raps. There's one of the best, 2 of the best German rappers, Kool Savas and Sammy Deluxe. They're like legends out here, and they sell out arenas. They're like big time here, and they asked me to do a song with them both on the record. So, like, Germany's 2 biggest, like, respected rappers. So I did some German rap, and that I don't remember the lyrics right now though. But and a group called the Snow Goons. I did a German rap with the Snow Goons. But that one, I don't have no ghostwriters. But I had a German guy there, like, helping me with the German. Like, yo, how do I say this? And he'd tell me, oh, okay.
So do you speak German?
Well, my German isn't as good as it should be. My mother's German, and my father's American New Yorker. So, what's crazy is they're strict in Germany. So, like, when I got my residency to be with my kids, they said, look, in 16 months, when you come back to renew it, we're not going to renew it if you don't speak the language better. And I was like, really? Like, in America, they can never get it. Like, we're not going to let you have your residency if you don't speak better. I never heard of that in America, but in Germany, they get away with that, So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. So we got someone asked, this is actually something I have in my notes that I was going to ask you. Who is someone that you have not done a song with yet but would love to? I'm sure you have a few, but who's like your top person?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch, and I guess I would go for my idols, Big Daddy Kane and Slick Rick, and those types. a lot of people want me to do Red and Meth, you know, because I know Meth and Red for decades and we never did nothing. But Big Daddy Kane was supposed to be on the last album on a song called Dragonfire. It had Ghostface and Master Killer and G
Yeah,
Rap,
yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah.
but the deadline, we missed the deadlines. Kane hit me up like, yo, I can't get it on time, but I owe you. We'll definitely do it. So, you know, I guess all my idols, you know, LL, I'd love to still do a song with, you know. I'm sure there's somebody new school I could think of, but right now I'm drawing a blank, you know. So
Yeah. You and Big Daddy Kane would be good. You and Red and Meth would be really good. Someone just said, will you do a battle rap with me? I'm not a rapper. Contrary to popular belief, so this has been going on for a couple months now after a BLM activist referred to me as the greatest rapper alive, and I'm not sure why. I'm not a rapper. I don't know how to rap. In fact, I was saying to RA before we went live, it's hard enough for me to come up with the thing I want to say on the spot, much less to then do it rhyming to a tempo. Like I'm not a rapper. So
how did you?
Yeah, man.
Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead.
Your fans probably already know, so it's probably not but how did you get the vice president nomination? Or did you? Is that even worth going into? Because your followers probably heard that or know it already.
I can talk about it.
Sure.
I can talk about it. So my background's actually in business. So I only got into politics like a couple of years ago, which is why I sort of came out of nowhere, because I started a web design company when I was in my teens, and I grew that into a pretty successful company. Long story short, I became pretty successful. 4 years ago, or actually almost 5 years ago now, I was officially diagnosed with MS. And I realized I wanted to make a change. The doctor said, yeah, the course of your treatment is to, the goal of your treatment is to try to slow down your MS so that it's not much different than just the normal aging process. That shit hit me like a ton of bricks, because I realized, you know, MS, healthy, doesn't matter. One day we're all not going to be here. And all of a sudden money didn't really matter as much. Success didn't really matter as much. What mattered is, what are we leaving behind when we're gone? And so that led me on a path of, like, first of all, I retired from my company. I'd reached a point where I didn't need to work anymore to make to be able to make ends meet. And I then started thinking, well, what is it I want to do? And I realized that my true passion was working to set people free and let people know it doesn't have to be like this, and working with them to build a blueprint to actually solve these problems and to be freer and to have a freer and happier and safer and healthier and more prosperous society. And so that led me into politics. I announced in December of 2019 that I was running for the vice presidential nomination. The LP actually picks our presidential and vice presidential picks separately. It's not like Joe Jorgensen didn't pick me. It was the delegates of the party that picked me. And I ran for it, and I gave them a blueprint for how we can, bring the message of liberty to people. I fully expected them to say, oh, that sounds great, and then pick someone that they knew better. They picked me, and it's been going ever since.
Well, you know, it's not funny, but, you know, did you campaign on the multiple sclerosis angle? Because, a lot of people, the first this, the first that, the first this. It's, to be able to run sharp and be sharp and have MS is kind of like some superhero shit. So I don't know if maybe they would like keep that out of the campaign or whatever. But I think that's kind of remarkable.
Well, and I appreciate that, man. I certainly didn't shy away from it, but it wasn't central to my message. And the reason is because I don't want it to be like, hey, vote for me, I have MS. Oh, you wouldn't not vote for the MS guy, would you? Like, I want it to be like...
Well, that's politics. You're a good man.
I know. I see. This is why I know.
Yeah.
Give me a couple more years, and I'll be fully.
That's what they all did.
I'm the MS guy. You have to vote for the MS guy. No, I'm not quite there yet, but yeah. So I certainly never shied away from it, and it was actually one of the most rewarding things last year was when people would either come up to me in person at an event, or email or message me and say, I have MS, or I have rheumatoid arthritis, or I have ALS, or I have some chronic illness, or or I have a reoccurring cancer, or I have something, and I've always felt ashamed to do it. And seeing someone just openly talk about the fact they have MS and be traveling around the country like it's no big thing was actually a source of inspiration and I guess solace for a lot of people. So if nothing else, I think that was pretty rewarding. But no, I just felt TV going, "Hey guys, I'm that MS guy. You got to vote for me now. You can't not vote for the cripple guy, right?" Like,
Nah,
so especially
you don't do it that way, but you put the dramatic music behind it and show you at the doctor, and I'll help you out with that one next time. I'll get a
Sitting at the
director
doctor.
for you.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
yes.
but you know who's a superhero in rap like that is Master Ace, because he's one of the greats for decades, and his live shows have been like on point. Like Master Ace live just puts together such a well organized, perfect show, and he came out. He was rocking with multiple MS for years and years and years, and nobody knew it since I think '99. I think he had it. And he was putting on these tremendous shows, and then he announced it. Well, what happened is he didn't want to announce it. He wanted to keep it a secret. And he was crossing the border with his crew. His crew didn't even know. His DJ Marco Polo. And they the border pulled them over and started opening their bags. And is anything in here? And it's, no. They opened the bag, and it had all these needles and all these drugs and needles.
Yeah.
And they were like, "What's this?" And Master Ace was like, "I have MS." And the crew was like, "What?" And that's how it got exposed. And he's out there, rocking shows, heavy shows, great shows, and making great albums and songs, and you wouldn't even know it. You would have no idea.
I had no idea Master Ace had MS. I didn't know that. That's wild, man. That's good. Well, see, that's the thing. 1 out of every 100 people has MS. It's just a lot of people. It's a more like and a lot of people don't talk about it. They think it's like this death sentence, and it's not. It's
well. Next election, you and Master Ace could run.
Master Ace, we can run on a joint MS ticket. Yes.
This
and
terrible.
You'll produce all the things to pull on the heartstrings of the dramatic music, and we're sitting in the doctor together and all that. No, it'd be perfect. So hey man, I listen. I know you've been.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I have used the R word before, whatever. But you call it R word. But what I'm saying is, like I said before, I grew up and I was raised around severely handicapped people, like severely handicapped. So it's like. Right. I just seen all of it firsthand. So when I hear stories about somebody even dealing with MS, it's like, oh man, like how the hell you do it? Like it's all superhero stuff to me. I don't mean to keep saying that, but like my sister Dee Dee, like, she when she was little, she'd be able to stand, like, and hold and stand. And then by the time she was 1 year old, her body couldn't hold her up anymore. And in like 26 years, just laying in the bed and can't talk, and her whole spiral turned all crazy, and her body was twisted up, and she'd stop breathing and then breathe again, and then they said she lived 8 days, and so it's like I don't know why I brought that up. That has nothing to do with MS, but I said, I haven't slept in like 24 hours.
That's fine. So, that's fine. And I listen. I appreciate all the time you've been giving us. I think we've talked about.
I'm good. I'm good to go. You got me as long as you want. I don't care if I don't sleep. That's I'm a working man.
We can. So we'll just keep the show going until you pass out, and then we'll close it out after that. We'll be like, all right, he's done. He's done. You'll just be like, yeah, no, this is good, and then you just fall asleep. So I do want to say the thing that, going back to the thing with Agent Orange and how it affected your family, the most disgusting part of all of that, arguably the most disgusting part, is that they lied about it for years, decades. They're like, no, that was fine. It's a perfectly safe pesticide.
That's what they do.
Planticide or whatever. And then finally they had to admit it. Yeah.
That's what they do. They lie about all of it. That's why, like, I know the whole vax thing, or we can't say that word or whatever, but it's like there's so much distrust, so much distrust for like the pharmaceutical industries, the FDA, the government, and they're mad at people that don't trust them, and they wish death on people who don't trust them, and they wish they get sick and die of COVID because they don't trust them. It's like, even if they are wrong, like, who's to say, first of all, because all this stuff does come out later that, but like, no matter if you're wrong or right, like, because somebody has a belief that you don't believe, they don't deserve hospital, you see that all the time. Okay, if someone doesn't get vaxxed, they don't deserve to be in the hospital, they should just die, and thank God they're dead. And you see anybody that was anti-vax publicly, if they die, everyone's like celebrating it on social media, and it's just one of the most disgusting, horrible things I've seen. It's like, because honestly, I have family members that are highly educated that don't trust it. Their kids were sick. Their kids died from government chemicals, and they're saying, hey, I don't feel good about doing that. I'm not going to do it. Now, are they stupid? No, they're not stupid. They're just different, So, and I have family members that are highly, trust, and they're vaxxed up and they're happy too, It's like,
that's great.
People, and they go, and then what they do is they blame the non-vax. They're the ones killing everybody, but the stats don't say that anywhere. Nope. No real stat is saying that the non-vax are killing everybody. That's not true. That's a lie. So the way to get people vaxxed is not by spreading misinformation and lies. Just like the way to get them, But I don't know. It is what it is, man. I'm not an expert. What?
No, I was just so the reason I've chosen not to get vaccinated is because I do have an autoimmune disease, and this vaccine hasn't been around long enough to know what it's going to do long term, especially to people whose immune systems are already weird to begin with. Also, I have been able to stay COVID negative for the last year and a half, traveling across the country multiple times, coming well within 6 feet of tens of thousands of people, almost always without a mask on. At this point, either my safety, the stuff I'm doing for safety, washing my hands and stuff, either that's working, or I have some natural immunity to COVID, or my weird immune system finally found something it's good at. Or whatever it is, I have been able to stay safe, and we don't know long term what this is going to do. So I've chosen not to get it. If someone else wants to get it, I think that they should get it. But this thing of if you don't get vaccinated, you deserve to die is the most, on so many levels, so wrong. First of all, like you said, you think something different than me, and you might be wrong, or I think you're wrong, so you should die.
But the way they justify it, the way they justify their disgusting thoughts is by saying that, Spike, because you're not vaccinated, you're a threat, and you're making everyone die. It's you, Spike, because you're the one that's. But there's no proof. Where's the proof? And then they'll have some stats from some manipulated data and say, this is the proof that Spike is killing everyone in the world. It's like, it's so disgusting, Spike is the murderer.
I want to see that study. I want Anthony Fauci on TV. Spike Cohen's killing everybody here. It's Spike Cohen. We finally found it out. Spike Cohen's going around. He's killing everybody.
Spike was the bat they put in the soup,
Yes, I'm the pangolin. There was someone in here. A few people have said this. I don't hear it, but many people are asking you if you've ever heard that you sound like Sylvester Stallone. I don't hear it.
I hear it every day of my life.
Really?
Yeah. What's funny is I don't hear it or see it either. But that said, is my father. I remember being a kid and thinking my father was like Stallone, and I look a lot like my dad. And when people would call the house, once my voice changed, they couldn't differentiate me and my father.
Right.
And it's funny. One time I had a Rambo poster on the wall when I was like, 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And my little brother was like 2 or 3. And he would go up to the Rambo poster and be like, Dad, Daddy. He thought it was our father. So, so maybe, I don't see it, but, the bloodline, my father. And I always wanted Stallone to play my father in a movie, but he never got back to me on Twitter. Or IG.
You know what? We're gonna do that. We're gonna start that pressure campaign on Twitter. I guess maybe I know so many people from Long Island. You just sound like someone from Long Island, so maybe that's why I'm not hearing this the Stallone
Yeah,
part.
that's what I
Yeah,
feel. The Long
yeah.
Island shit, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, and Stallone's was more of like a Philly accent anyway. So I'm not hearing it. Multiple reasons I'm not hearing it. So I appreciate you, man. I appreciate all the time you've answered all these other questions. You've been on way longer than I originally had asked you, and I know that I don't want you to fall asleep on the show, because then everyone's gonna be like, Spike Cohen is so boring that he had a rapper on and he just fell asleep on the show. So I don't need that, and you
Usually
don't
I'm
need that.
more entertaining. Anybody listening and watching, usually I'm on fire. Also, if anybody's watching now, usually they'd be like, "Oh, Ray looks like he's getting younger every time." Today I look old and shit because I'm tired and I haven't slept, so my shit's all bagged up. Like,
Listen,
oh, here's what RA looks like when he look old.
I'm the one who asked you to do this live, and you're 6 hours ahead of us. So this is my fault. No, listen, you've been great.
Nah,
You've
it's
been
all good.
fantastic.
I told you, I'm with it, you know. And like I said, if America got me my overseas voting papers, I would have voted for you. So
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate your support. You may have a chance in the future, but we'll see. Listen, man. Before I let you go, I want to give you a chance to give any final thoughts, anything you haven't had a chance to say, upcoming events, anything you want to promo, your website, social media, anything you want to say. As long as you want to take RA the Rugged Man, the floor is yours.
Oh, I got my new video out, R.A. the Rugged Man, Firstborn, featuring Novel. And it's a song I wrote about my daughter, and I really, really love it. But, you know, it's not one of my most seen videos, and it's one of my favorite and most personal, and I want it to get seen. I want the right person to tweet it out or something where the thing gets seen, Firstborn, featuring Novel. It's about my daughter, because when she gets old, I want the numbers to be higher. So she says, "Oh yeah, you made that song and people loved it." You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, "You made that song, but they like all your other shit more." No, but it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite. And Novel is like an incredible singer-songwriter. His grandfather was Solomon Burke. His father was like the guy that, you know, incredible Motown writer that wrote "Dancing in the Streets." His mother was Shaka Khan's backup singer on tour. He's a musical, you know, family to the extreme. And Novel is just a great singer songwriter, and he's the one who did the third verse and the chorus, and I did the first, second, and the fourth verse. And go check it out right now, Firstborn. I got some shows in London and Glasgow coming up next week, but I don't know who from London and Glasgow is listening right now. And I think London sold out. Glasgow's basically sold out. And then next month I got some European dates, but I forgot where, so I can't promote that.
Are you planning on doing any American tours in the future? Or?
Yeah, December. I don't have the dates yet, but yeah, we have about 18 dates set for December. So we're gonna be touring America in December, definitely.
Nice.
You know,
I'm gonna have to come out to one of those, man. I'm gonna have to come out to one of those. I'm sorry. One last question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We should have a South Carolina date. I'm pretty sure we have a Raleigh, North Carolina date. So I got to see if we have a South Carolina date.
Listen,
I'm hoping that we do.
Raleigh's like 3.5 hours. Raleig's like 3.5 hours for me, so I can just go there. That's fine.
Come rock with us, man.
Yeah, I can't wait. Listen, so I have to ask this question because I don't know the reference, but someone said you were at the gathering. Are you a juggalo?
Oh, the gathering of the juggalos it's kind of like, you would like the juggalos because they're this hated community. They're like, you know, and they paint their face like clowns, and it's Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah, Insane Clown Posse. Yeah.
But the Juggalos. I just played the gathering of the Juggalos, and it's awesome. I love it every time I do it. But you'd be interested in this story. Look it up later. The feds made the Juggalos a terrorist organization. And they're just like these like drunk having fun, not even just white kids, they're kids of all colors, but like like rowdy poor kids that just like to go crazy and act wild and listen to Insane fucking Clown Posse and Tech Nine and shit. And the fucking feds found them to be this like awful threat, and they fucked up the money for Insane Clown Posse because there were certain people that didn't want to book like a terrorist organization.
Oh, for God's
sake. But it's so fucking stupid. Look it up. And they had like a march, or what the feds said they were terrorists or whatever. Juggalos. Yeah. So shout out to all my juggalos. I love you. You guys are fucking awesome. And I really love Juggalos. I really do. And a lot of people be like, "Oh, that's not hip hop." No, it's hip hop. And I love them. I love rocking for them. I fucking love them, you know. And Shaggy too, dope. We did a podcast for him. I'm looking forward to that coming out too because that was funny. Yeah. So,
nice. Yeah. Shout out to the Juggalos. So, hey, man. All right. Thank you so much for coming on. Stick around. We're going to talk during the outro. And, folks, thank you for tuning into this episode of My Fellow Americans. Tune in tomorrow for the Writer's Block. Matt Wright will be interviewing Martha Bueno, who is running for the City Commission in Miami. And she's going to be part of my Spike Cohen Florida tour, September 3rd to 5th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Friday at 9:30, we're having an episode of Cajun and Eskimo from Bayou to Igloo at 9:30 right here on Muddy Waters Media. Join me at 7 p.m. in Tamarack, I think that's how you say it, Florida. I'm going to be doing an event with Mike Termott, who is a libertarian running for, he was actually my guest last week, and he's running for Congress. If you go to spikecohen.com, all the events for this weekend are there. Then next Monday, join us here on Muddy Waters Media for Mr. America, The Bearded Truth at 8 p.m. Jason Lyon will deep dive into a single issue. He does that every week. He's fantastic. Then next Tuesday, join us for the Muddy Waters of Freedom at 8 p.m. where Matt Wright and I parse through the week's events. Then join me right back here. I still have the tour up. Right back here. Same Spike place, same Spike time next Wednesday for another amazing episode of My Fellow Americans. I will see you then. I'm Spike Cohen, and you are the power. God bless, guys.
They say about an eye for an eye in a time when the blind lead the blind. Who am I to deny when cry when a loved one dies? I recognize that body outside full of holes in a body that was alive. Now confined to a chalk outline. Find out how, but you never know why. It ain't even make it to the news at 9. It ain't even make it to the news at 9. That's my sister, mother, father, brother, son. That's one of mine. All these years I close my eyes, open up to only find I'm in line. There's a pointless murder happening all the time. Either lose your life or mine. Caught up in them versus that ain't how it started, nah. How were we supposed to survive? There's a war going on outside. Who would want to raise a child? Whom the tomb is flashing by. Now you have to say goodbye when you watch them on the news at 5. Don't tell me how, tell me why.
We will make the